Thank you, Matt. Now 6:43, joining us in the studio live this morning, U.S. Senator Jon Tester. Senator, thanks for joining us. We have chatted since St. Patrick's Day Parade.
That's right. It was good. We both got out of town alive.
Absolutely true.
Yeah.
It was good to be there after all the work going on back in D.C. on that spending bill and things like that. You went to work, a couple of things coming out of that real positive for Montana. Let's talk about some of that. First off, wildfire relief in there.
Well, there was a wildfire fix in it. Currently, what's going on, Chet, is when we have forest fires, the Forest Service budget dollars is being taken to fight those fires. This year, it's more than half, well more than half, in fact. And we've been pushing for a long time. The Western senators, in a bipartisan way, have been pushing to treat it like a natural disaster, which is what it is. And we finally got a fund set aside for the fighting of wildfires. Treat them as a natural disaster. Keeping the Forest Service budget whole so they can do things like trail maintenance and campground maintenance and preparing for tree cuts and those kind of things that the Forest Service needs to do as far as management of the forest. So that was a big deal we've been working on for a long time.
I also know you were able to get some money in there for Yellowstone. Maintenance is a huge thing in national parks, and you were able to get a little bit of that as well.
We've seen record visitorship in the parks, both Yellowstone and Glacier. The infrastructure's taken a hit. It needs some work, and we've got some dollars set aside to do some of that maintenance. Certainly not enough, but a good step forward to eat a chunk of it out. And then we also put some money in for secure rural schools, which helps Gallatin County. I think they got over $400,000 when the program was working properly. And so now it gets back so they can get their budget so they can do their road maintenance and the kind of things that they do at the county level. There's just a lot of good things in the bill. There's some broadband funding, and so it's a positive thing. Plus, there's some really good language as far as fixing the lawsuit problems that's been happening with in the Forest Service. So I think overall it spends a lot of money. There's no doubt about that. But for the most part, it is a really, really good bill.
I do know that there's still work to do. In fact, you're having a rally later today talking about some mining proposals near Yellowstone National Park. We're looking to try to see what can happen with all of that. To explain how that's all been.
One of the things we wanted to get in the bill but weren't able to get in the bill is a bill called the Yellowstone Protection Act. And this bill started a couple of years ago. Businesses in the Paradise Valley said, hey, we don't want to mine at the headwaters of the Yellowstone River. It's going to ruin our business model, which it would. And so we drafted a bill to basically prevent mining on the public land that wasn't leased. And so it was a good bill. It was a bill that we worked with the local community. And we were hoping to get it in the omnibus. We didn't, but we try again. We're going to take another bite of the apple as we get back in D.C. and look for an opportunity to put that bill on, because it will give the kind of predictability those businesses need to hire and expand our economy. That valley alone is about $1 billion to the state's economy.
So the work never ends, does it?
No, it doesn't. There's always stuff to do.
Well, that's perfect. I'm glad you took a little time away from the work to join us here on Montana this morning.
It's always good to visit with you. It's a little warmer in the studio than it was in the parade.
Well, that's a fact for sure, Senator Tester. Thank you very much for joining us. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, much more of your headlines, and Matt has your forecast. Stick around.